The Yaffee Program on WVNN.
All right, got a question to start off the show. You can weigh in on the Yaffee text line, brought to you by Regenesis, 866-494-9866. Here's the question. I think it's pretty easy to answer, but I'd love to get your take. Is America the sole superpower again? Are we the only superpower in the world? Now, I think obviously the answer is yes. But there are some who say, China's still basically a superpower. And has that changed under Trump? When you look at the Trump administration, you look at his legacy. There are going to be a lot of things we talk about with the legacy of Trump after he's out of office. But really, what might have the longest term effects that he has done is his foreign policy. What he has done in terms of projecting American power around the world really is amazing, even considering in his second term, it hasn't even been a year, almost a year. So we'll talk about that. There's a great piece in the Wall Street Journal about it. I grabbed some audio of that. I'd love to get your take. You're listening to the Yaffee Program. This is the show where you can count on the latest news, the important guests, and the best analysis, all for your morning commute. Here on News Talk 770 AM 92.5 FM WVNN. Also, we'll get to the Alabama headlines with those Alabama bullet points as usual. Brad Presnall is going to join me at the bottom of the hour. Lots to talk about with him when it comes to Alabama politics, but also he really wants to comment on what's going on in Minneapolis. So we'll get to that later on in the show. We got to talk about Trump's great healthcare plan, is what he's calling it. The Trump great healthcare plan, which the fact that he has a name for it and he's doing what he's doing about it, he listens to the show. I mean, this is what I've been telling him to do. Except it's really not that great. That's the only problem. It's okay. It's fine. It really should just be called the fine healthcare plan. It's fine. I'll explain why. It has good things in it, but it's missing a lot that needs to be done if we really want to lower healthcare prices in this country. So we'll discuss that. And Bugsy is here as well. She's going to do What's Trending later on. Bugsy, how are you today?
I'm okay, Yaffee. So I brought a Gatorade here today, right? And yes. I bought it yesterday because it's cheaper at Walmart than it is at my favorite gas station that I have now broken my relationship with. I'm never going again.
You broke your why?
Because my favorite person, they switched her to evenings, and so I don't see her anymore. And I don't like the guy that's there. He's not friendly. And so, anyways, I buy my Gatorade from elsewhere, and I forgot to bring it into my house yesterday, and so I left it in my car. And this morning, it was really cold, and I was like, surely it's just, it's fine. And I picked it up, and I brought it into the radio station, and it's just completely frozen solid.
Oh, man, so it's not even like an icy frozen.
No,
it's just a block of ice in there.
Yeah, I like them icy, but, yeah, it's actually melted, finally, a little bit. It took 3 hours or so for it to melt. I put it on top of our equipment and let it slowly warm up.
It's a little scary that our equipment works like a stove.
just so you know, anybody listening on the apps like iHeartRadio or anything right now, thank you. I used to warm up my Gatorade. I put it on that.
Great, wonderful. Our equipment is officially a stove or an oven for Bugsy. That's concerning, but I appreciate. Okay, good. I'm glad you at least have your Gatorade. All right, let me get to this piece here because I think it's really interesting. According to the Wall Street Journal, this is Arthur Herman, who, by the way, is a great historian. He worked for the first Trump administration as well. He's a really, really good guy. I've read a couple of his books, really good. But he says America is the sole superpower again. He said China could have been a contender, but Trump has led the U.S. to a new unipolar moment. Said it happened after World War II and after the Cold War, and it's happening now. President Trump has thrust the U.S. into another unipolar moment, a time when a single great power dominates the globe and crafts a new world order. Do you think this is right? There's been a lot of talk about China and that we're now heading into a time where it's multiple superpowers, unlike after the Cold War when it really was just the U.S. But he says, look, Trump comes in, he projects real American power, he shows how inept Russia is when it comes to defending their allies, and he shows how inept China is as well in certain cases. I think this is interesting. Now, what also is interesting and really a good point to this, Trump is now calling for a $1.5 trillion military budget. Now, at a time when you have massive debt, there are probably a lot of even Trump supporters who think it's too much because of our debt. And I understand that. But the thing is, as a percentage of GDP, we're not spending enough on military defense. And believe it or not, even though even some Trump supporters disagree with this too, but I think it's a good thing for the world that America is the sole superpower and will continue to be the sole superpower. I am not one of these people who thinks that American intervention around the world has been bad for the world. And it would be better if America just left the world alone and didn't do anything. I don't think that's true. The fact is, if we don't intervene ahead of time, it eventually reaches our shores, and the cost will be much, much greater. It is much better for the world with America projecting power. It just is. Now, I want to play some cuts of Arthur Herman as well. He was on Fox Business yesterday talking a little bit more about this. And just so you know, this is because of Trump. It is amazing how a different president can make a huge difference in the world, in the United States, when it comes to a lot of different things. So go ahead, Bugsy, if you can, play Arthur Herman cut one for me.
Something fundamentally changed after January 20th, 2025, and America's relationship with the world was going to change dramatically and in a positive direction. Because look, what is it that really defines a superpower? A superpower is a country, a power that is able to project power and influence on a global scale. And right now, at the start of 2026, the United States is the one power able to do that. We've demonstrated that. We demonstrated that with the attack on Iran. We demonstrated that in ending the fighting in Gaza. We've demonstrated that with taking out Maduro and bringing him out from Venezuela. We see us reshaping the Middle East, reshaping the Europe in the wake of Putin's onslaught. We're going to see this in Africa. We're going to see this in Southeast Asia. It's happening all over.
He's right. And it's good. A lot of people thought Trump was going to be an isolationist. A lot of people thought, oh, he's ruining our relationship with all of our allies, our relationships with our allies. Oh, Trump is ruining our presence on the world stage. Seems to be the opposite. He is projecting American strength and American power, and that is a good thing for the world. And it makes us the sole superpower, which is a good thing for the world. Now go ahead and play cut 2 of Arthur Herman for me.
And what we're seeing is the fulfillment of that vision that we had and that President Trump had, which was that the United States needs to feel its power and influence. It needs to be unashamed of the way in which it can reshape the global system. And right now, that's what we're doing. I mean, look around. Everybody should take a close and dispassionate look. Where is the energy? Where is the dynamism? Right. Where's the vision in the world system right now?
You know, Trump.
I mean, he's right. And he points this out in his piece as well. He says superpower status depends on economic as well as military strength. The U.S. economy is poised for a strong 2026 with predictions of gross domestic product growth ranging from 2% to more than 5%. Can you imagine more than 5% economic growth? That's unheard of these days. He says, in addition, from artificial intelligence to quantum computing and space, the U.S. is reclaiming the heights of high tech after ceding too much advantage to China over the past 2 decades. The U.S. is also taking major steps to close the rare earths gap with China, which will deprive Beijing of one of its principal claims to global economic dominance. So all the problems we have with Trump trying to project strength around the world, trying to make deals to get rare earth minerals and everything else, and to try to free up our markets here, especially when it comes to energy, so we can lower energy prices and build more nuclear power plants and everything else. This is good. Now go ahead and play cut 3 of Arthur Herman.
It's coming out of the United States.
Arthur, it's funny. Mr. Trump said stuff. It's economic out of South America. I want to talk.
It's an astonishing transformation. And you know what? And here's the interesting
It
point,
happened
Larry,
fast.
is that all the pieces were there. What we're learning is all these pieces were there. It just needed a leader, a president, and a team who could bring it all together and to make it happen, and to make America realize its destiny.
It happened fast. Arthur Herman.
All right, sorry about the beginning of that, Bugsy. I didn't edit that correctly. But he says there, Arthur Herman, that all the pieces are there. They were there. They were there under Biden. But Biden chose the opposite. Because Biden had a mindset that, well, America's in decline. We need more socialism. That's how you compete with the rest of the world. More government programs in our economy. And Trump comes in and does a 180, and just in a year, we've seen a huge difference. Now, there's more work to be done. As I said, we need to increase our military budget, like it or not. But the first question I had is America the sole superpower? The second question I have is, what would the world look like if Kamala Harris were president right now? So all these people that complain about Trump, Truth Social posts, and some of the issues even I have with them, the fact is, between him and Kamala Harris, it's no contest. The world is a much better place because Trump won against Kamala Harris. I think most of you probably agree with that, but you can tell me. We have our Yaffee text line, of course, 866-494-9866. Brought to you by Regenesis Stem Cell Center. Go to regenesisstemcell.com. Coming up next, we'll get to those Alabama bullet points. You're listening to the Yaffee program. Stay with us.
The Yaffee program.
All right, Friday edition of the Yaffee program. Right here on News Talk 770 AM 92.5 FM WVNN. Brad Presnall, political consultant, will join me in just a couple of minutes. A lot more to get to. We'll get to your texts as well on the Yaffee text line. Right now, though, let's get to those headlines. Once again, we have the Alabama bullet points.
Alabama bullet points. Today's headlines from around the Yellowhammer State.
Sponsored by Larry's Pistol and Pawn. Number 4 today, opioid prescriptions and dosage strength continue to decline in Alabama. That's right, opioid prescriptions and their dosage strengths have continued to decline significantly in the state. This is according to a recent national report highlighted by the Medical Association of the state of Alabama. From 2012 to 2024, the number of opioid prescriptions fell by 46.2%, while the average dosage strength dropped by 58.7%. Now, this progress stems from over a decade of efforts by Alabama physicians, including extensive training programs focused on safe, evidence-based prescribing, lower doses, more selective use, and greater emphasis on alternative pain treatments. Meanwhile, prescriptions for certain ones have surged, so that's good news. Number 3 today, Congressman Barry Moore supports withholding federal funds from sanctuary cities. That's right, U.S. Representative Barry Moore out of Enterprise, who is also a candidate for the U.S. Senate, was on my show this week and expressed strong support for President Donald Trump's plan to withhold federal funds from sanctuary cities and states, and he wants to do this starting February 1st. Now, Moore argued that these jurisdictions cannot reject federal law enforcement cooperation while still demanding federal dollars. He basically says they don't want federal law enforcement, but they love those federal dollars. You can't have your cake and eat it too, which of course he's right on that. Now, the proposal follows recent ICE operations in Minnesota, where the Minneapolis mayor repeatedly asked federal agents to leave. He even said, "Get the F out," at one point. So Moore views the funding cutoff as necessary leverage to combat fraud, crime protection, and anti-American sentiment in such areas. And of course, he's right. Number 2 today, Attorney General Steve Marshall, who is also a candidate for the U.S. Senate, whites in to Tim Walz for inflaming tensions after the ICE shooting, which we've been talking about on the show. So Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall sharply criticized Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey for inflaming tensions in the community following a fatal shooting involving ICE agents. Now, the incident centered on the death of Renee Nicole Good, who was shot and killed by an ICE agent after allegedly attempting to use her vehicle as a weapon, along with a separate event where an officer shot a man in the leg during an arrest attempt. Now, Marshall, on my show yesterday, he said that basically Walz and Frey are encouraging protests, blaming ICE for what they're saying is murder, and failing to denounce violent acts such as protesters breaking into an ICE vehicle to steal guns and 3 individuals attacking an ICE agent during a lawful pursuit. So he said their rhetoric is over the top. Number 1 today, the Alabama Public Library Service continues their funding pause for the Fairhope Library after a hypersexual teen book prompts a trigger warning. So yesterday, the Alabama Public Library Service Board voted 3-2 to continue withholding state funding from the Fairhope Public Library. This decision followed the chairman, John Wall, reading a graphic sexual excerpt from a teen section book. It's called The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, which prompted a trigger warning for minors. Now, the ongoing funding pause stems from concerns about sexually explicit or hypersexual materials accessible to teenagers, with Wall arguing that taxpayer dollars should not fund exposure of children to such graphic content and urging relocation of these books to adult sections, which should be a simple request, and they should just simply comply with that request. But, of course, they don't want to, ever. And so you have this problem, so you lose the funding. There you go. They tried to be a sanctuary library. Is that what we should call sanctuary libraries? By the way, the sponsor of the Bullet Points, once again, is Larry's Pistol and Pawn. Let's see. It's the middle of January. That means we're, about a month, less than a month away from Valentine's Day. What are you going to get your wife, your girlfriend? How about some nice jewelry? How about you step it up this year? Don't just get chocolates and a teddy bear. How about some new earrings? Maybe a new bracelet, new necklace, maybe a ring. You can get gold, silver, white gold, diamond, sapphire, other gems as well. And it's all available at Larry's Pistol and Pawn, and the selection is huge, but even better, the price. Yes, you'll get it for a great price, and the customer service is amazing. They can do jewelry sizing as well. There's a reason why I've had several coworkers, several family members, some friends as well, buy their jewelry at Larry's Pistol and Pawn. So go to the Madison location. They have a huge selection there. It's off Greenbrier Exit 3, next to that big rusty water tower, off 565. You can't miss it. It's an 18,000 square foot facility. And yes, you can go to the other location as well in Huntsville off North Memorial Parkway. They have financing specials. And yes, you can put jewelry on layaway. Go to Larry's Pistol and Pawn today. And when you do, go to pistolandpawn.com as well. You can see more on the website. When you go, let them know Yaffee was the one who sent you. All right, Brad Presnall going to join me next. We're going to talk about Minneapolis. Later on, I have to play the some audio cuts of Jacob Frey yesterday, who was not helping, which isn't surprising, but there you go. You're listening to the Yaffee program. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's the Yaffee program on WVNN.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret, with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
The Inside of You podcast.
You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Let's get inside of Sebastian Maniscalco.
This whole podcasting thing, right?
I was doing it before every actor and their mother wanted a podcast.
Did you wake up one day and go, I gotta talk to people? You're an actor.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you're Barbara Walters.
Yeah.
How do we make...
It happened by accident. I had no idea people would start listening. But when you're genuine, that's what attracts people.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Raise your hand, everyone, if you have had issues with the post office recently, where things just seem to take forever in the mail. I'm guessing over the holidays, some people listening probably did have some issues. I know I did. Well, apparently Congressman Dale Strong is going to be working on this, and we've been talking about it for a while, so we're going to get to that right now with Brad Presnall. He is a political consultant, does work for Congressman Dale Strong, Senator Tommy Tuberville, the AEA, among others. Brad, how are you today, sir?
Doing well, Yaffee. Good morning.
So, I know we've been talking about this for a while, but problems with the Postal Service. Congressman Dale Strong says he is working to get it fixed.
Absolutely. You and I have talked about this on your show several times in the last 2 years, and Congressman Strong has been working to fix it behind the scenes. I know that his staff have passed on to him the overwhelming amount of complaints from 5th District residents. And also, I have talked with a member of his staff personally more than once about problems that I have had. And I've also spoken to the congressman myself multiple times about it. And he understands that it's unacceptable. And he's been fighting through red tape for a year and a half looking for a solution. And like you said, the complaints range. Mail just not being delivered at all, to mail taking 10 to 15 working days just to come from a short distance. I can give you an example. Last month, I was mailed a business letter to me from the Shoals. We all know that our mail goes to Birmingham, and that's where the majority of the problems are. So for the mail to get to my house here in Morgan County, it took 18 days. Now, that is unacceptable, especially since the post office raises prices 6 times a year and the service gets worse. And then when my letter actually got here, Yaffee, they had never stamped it. So I could, in theory, I could have pulled the stamp off of it and reused it because it never went through the machine. I mean, that's just unacceptable. And many people watch the tracking on their priority mail packages, and they see regularly that a package will sit in the Birmingham Center for a week before they even touch it. And then once they do touch it, many times it's scanned multiple times, never leaves the building during those scans, and then it sits for another several days before it actually leaves the facility. And you and I and your listeners, we're paying for priority mail, 2 to 3 day delivery, but yet they deliver it in 2 weeks. I mean, we're paying for a service and we're not getting the service. I do think the Birmingham Post Office is the weak link here. I think our carriers and our workers in North Alabama do the best they can with what they have, but Birmingham needs to be held to account. And I also think what it got back to is when the Obama administration were in power, they made the mistake of closing the processing and distribution center in Huntsville, claiming that Birmingham could handle the flow, and that's what caused many of the problems. We now have the biggest city in the state, and the fact that we don't have our own processing center to maintain all of our population up here is insane, Yaffee. And Congressman Strong has lobbied and worked hard on this now, like I said, for about 2 years, and he has finally secured an evaluation of the closing of the center. We're optimistic that the Postal Service will see the mistake they made in closing it and will correct it as soon as possible and reopen our center or build a new one in the future that can actually serve the 5th District.
Okay, so yeah, it all seems to tie to closing of that center. I mean, is it also a staffing issue? I guess the two are related, but the ones that are open, are they short-staffed or?
Well, I think it may be short-staffed. I think what it really gets down to, Yaffee, is the workforce. When I was growing up, it was almost impossible to get a job at the United States Postal Service. I mean, even if you knew somebody, you just didn't get a job there unless you were extremely fortunate, because people didn't leave the jobs. They stayed in there for 25 years. You knew your letter carrier at your house by their first name, and you had a relationship with them. You see them and say hello, talk about families. Nowadays, in the span of a week, 7 days, I may have 4 different carriers at my house, and some of them are contract carriers. Some of them are employees at the post office. And so they just bring people in off the street, just fill out an application like you were just going to flip burgers or something. Not that flipping burgers is not an important job, because it is, but all jobs are important. But they don't really look at the applicants as strongly and as harshly as they used to. And that's an important thing, handling the mail correspondence. I mean, that's when you think about it, security, privacy, and us just doing our business. It's a very important of the fabric of America is the Postal Service, and it needs to be fixed.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. I wonder why that is. I mean, do they have a hard time recruiting? You would think there would still be a lot of people that would want that job. I'm guessing it still comes with decent benefits and stuff.
I think it comes with great benefits, and it's a good, solid starting salary. And I think, if you work there and you do your job right, you actually have to work. And a lot of people don't want to have to work hard. They think I can go to Target and get paid $20 an hour, and I can mess around on the floor or do whatever. And the post office, I don't know what their starting pay is, but it's probably in that area of $20 an hour or so. And why would you want to go there where you actually have to work hard in the back if you're doing the mail, sorting the mail, or if you're a carrier or whatever the case is? They work hard if they do their job correctly.
Speaking with Brad Presnell, political consultant. Moving on to some other topics. I know you wanted to talk about what's going on in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. Jacob Fry, Tim Walz, not really making the situation better. I did see that, he said it on my show yesterday. Steve Marshall blamed it on the rhetoric, that blamed a lot of the tensions and the rhetoric from the leaders there. Congressman Barry Moore says we should withhold federal funding. He supports Trump in that. What do you think about everything going on?
Yaffee, I have a few questions. One is why do all Democrat protests turn into riots? I mean, just overall, why do they turn into riots? And I think all of this in Minneapolis has risen above a riot. They are breaking in feds' cars, stealing their guns, paperwork, doxing the agents, calling for ICE personnel to be murdered, spray painting, kill an ICE agent on the side of their cars. I would like to see ICE be more aggressive in protecting themselves. We see them spray somebody in the face with bear spray and sometimes handcuff somebody, but compared to what they are having to endure from these anarchists, I think ICE overall has been very passive. Let's go back to 1968 and remember what the Chicago Police Department did to rioters at the Democrat National Convention. They put the dogs on them. They used their billy clubs and arrested every single one of them and threw them in a paddy wagon and took them to jail and put them in cells with hardened criminals. You can watch it all on YouTube. There's a great documentary on there about it where you actually see what happened there outside the convention center. And there should be no leeway here, Yaffee. I think it's justification for the federal government to react much more aggressively, because if they don't, I'm afraid these riots are going to get worse. And ultimately, the formation of sanctuary cities resist forces will build up all over the country using this model to keep ICE from doing their job, and it will basically turn into the norm.
So do you think as well that maybe Trump should invoke the Insurrection Act, maybe send in the National Guard?
I would hate for him to have to feel like he needs to do that. I don't know if this is true, but I think they said the last person that did it was George H.W. Bush during Rodney King riots. And we saw how all that went, but they did stop it and clean it up. He may have to. That's something's going to have to happen. That's for sure. Because like you said, Governor Walz and Mayor Fry, they're not going to do anything to protect the citizens of Minneapolis and obviously the officers of ICE. We have to remember that these anti-ICE forces, a lot of them are Antifa. They're just punks. They are cowards, mostly paid agitators in their early 20s who, if punched in the mouth, would retreat like a whipped puppy. They don't think ICE and the federal government means business, because if they did, federal government meant business, Governor Walz and Mayor Fry would have been arrested for inciting a riot. And by not doing so, it is fanning the flames. And at some point, this is going to take a much more violent turn. And there would be more loss of life in addition to the lady that got shot in the face. I think there may be more people shot. There could be ICE agents shot, which that's where I think it's leading to. I think we'll probably see some ICE agents shot pretty soon if they don't get a handle on this. I would love to see Attorney General Pam Bondi try to prosecute them, arrest them, put them in handcuffs, get them out of there, show people that you cannot do this kind of thing in America. So we're going to start seeing blue mayors and blue governors around the country say, well, if we can do it, they can do it there. We can do it here in Chicago or New York or Los Angeles or wherever.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Brad Presnell, political consultant. I wanted to move on real quick to Alabama politics. The session has officially started. Kay Ivey gave her State of the State address. Any thoughts there? Anything specific you're going to be looking at?
They say that since this is the last year of the quadrennium, this will be a quiet session. Every time they seem to say that, it turns out to be anything but. So we'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward. I know she gave her last speech, and it was pretty much well received from her. So I'd like to see what they're going to do in their last year before we have a Governor Tuberville and some of the things he'd like to push forward. So it's going to be an interesting session for sure.
Well, I mean, speaking of Tuberville, looks like he's probably going to send the National Guard to Montgomery, maybe even Birmingham. Do you think that actually happens?
100%. I mean, he'll send it to Bessemer if he has to. He's going to protect Alabamians with all the power at his disposal. And if that means sending in the National Guard to take control of a city who is out of control, don't sleep on it. Governor Tuberville will do it.
Yeah, I mean, he basically said it's like a war zone. I mean, do you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think the other day he was asked about it, and he said, well, just last night we had 2 shootings in Montgomery, and that's unacceptable. And, here in Huntsville, we are blessed that our mayor and our Madison County Sheriff and Huntsville PD do a great job, but they let them do their job. And in these blue cities around the state and these smaller incorporated municipalities, we see crime that's out of control or much higher than it should be. I mean, you're never going to have zero crime, but there's a limit there. And when you see somebody that a mayor doesn't really support the police department and allow them to do their job, you're going to have a problem. And if a governor has to step in, I know a Governor Tuberville will step in.
Brad Presnell, political consultant, does work for Senator Tommy Tuberville, who's running for governor. Also Congressman Dale Strong, also the AEA. Brad, always appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Yaffee.
There you go. Yes, I always appreciate my interview with Brad. You're always going to appreciate Jay's Appliance Outlet if you need a new appliance. That's right. I want you to kick off your 2026 by upgrading your home with major brands at prices that'll keep your budget resolutions in check. Brand new refrigerators, scratch and dent washers and dryers, overstock items, inventory that's changing daily, always something new to discover and more. Go to Jay's Appliance Outlet today if you need any of those things. Now, stop by their showroom off 1027 U.S. Highway 72 East in Athens. You can give them a call, 256-444-1328, or go to the website, jaysapplianceal.com. They are family-owned. That means great customer service, friendly, honest, always there when you need them. Oh, and they service what they sell, so your appliances keep working for a long, long time. There's a reason why you should go there and why people have thanked me for telling them about Jay's and going there. Jay's Appliance Outlet in Athens. Go today. When you do, let them know you heard about it from Yaffee.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
We're back on the Yaffee program. So let's say there are riots going on in your city. Let's say that federal law enforcement is in your city trying to, enforce immigration law. Let's do a little bit of a lesson here of what not to do, of what not to say if you're the mayor. I'll give you a couple examples here. Go ahead, if you can, Bugsy, play Jacob Fry cut 1 for me.
Imagine if that city or that town was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear. Imagine if your daily routines were disrupted. The local cafe that you eat at was shut down because they're scared that their own family might get torn apart. Imagine if schools shut down and suddenly parents got to figure out what to do for daycare.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You could have thousands of illegal immigrants come into a country, come into a city, cause all those kinds of problems, but that's okay. That's fine. But when you have federal law enforcement come in temporarily to enforce the law, then we're going to make a big deal about it. Now, all of a sudden, you care about people coming into your city. Okay, I see how this works. So that was example 1 of what not to do if you're the leader of your city during times like this. Let's go to example number 2. Go and play Jacob Fry cut 2.
And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors. We cannot be at a place right now in America where we have 2 governmental entities that are literally fighting one another. Why are we put in this position? We're put in this position because we have approximately 600 police officers in Minneapolis, far fewer that are able to work at any given time. And there are approximately 3,000 ICE agents in the area. 3,000.
I mean, you could just work with them. Shouldn't you thank the federal government for helping you crack down on crime? Why are we put in this position? Because ICE is here. No. You're put in that position, 1, because you allowed thousands of illegal immigrants to come into your state, in your city, hundreds, and you allow a massive amount of fraud to occur by immigrants, illegal immigrants as well. And then you refuse to work with ICE when they're there. That's what's caused the situation. But no, you're going to talk about fighting ICE agents. So things are going well. But then calm down, everyone. Calm down. We're going to fight ICE agents. Yes, but calm down, everyone. No riots. Jeez. Okay, that's it. Let's trade this part of Minnesota for Greenland. Denmark, you can have Minneapolis, and we'll take Greenland. Okay? Deal? We'll be back in a moment on the Yaffee program.
The Yaffee program.
Get ready for The Rush with Max Crosby.
It's time.
Your all-access pass into the heart of the NFL.
This is the National Football League, and they don't play around. You got to be smart.
All-pro defensive end Max Crosby takes you beyond the field with exclusive insights.
I could say this because I've played them.
This is The Rush.
You guys already know what time it is. It was fire, and we'll be right back on the pod, and we'll be talking about it next week.
The Rush with Max Crosby. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The Yaffee program on WVNN.
Trump's great healthcare plan is, well, it's fine. That's kind of my response to it. It's fine, I guess. It's better than nothing. There are some good parts of it. But it's really missing some stuff that's needed if we're really going to focus on lowering healthcare costs in this country. Now, he did what I told him to do. He put it out there, had a big message. He's talking with health insurance executives today, and he branded it. Now, I said call it the One Big Beautiful Healthcare Bill or whatever, Trump's Affordable Care Act, but he's calling it the Great Healthcare Plan, which is fine. It's just there's something that needs to be done. We can't just focus on adding some things to Obamacare. We need to focus on making it more affordable. So I'll talk about that and much more in a moment. You are listening to the Yaffee program. We talk faith, culture, and politics Monday through Friday, 9 through 11 a.m. on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. You can weigh in. We have our Yaffee text line brought to you by Regenesis Stem Cell Center. Go to regenesisstemcell.com. The phone number for that is 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. All right, I'm going to read some of this from Yahoo News. It says, President Donald Trump on Thursday revealed a health care proposal dubbed the Great Health Care Plan, outlining a set of cost-cutting ideas, but stopping short of offering a detailed replacement for the Affordable Care Act. Now, I grabbed some audio. He posted a video speech kind of announcing this on the White House social media and everything else. Go ahead if you can. Bugsy, play Trump Cut 1 for me.
Today, I'm thrilled to announce my plan to lower healthcare prices for all Americans and truly make healthcare affordable again. We're doing things that nobody's ever been able to do. We're calling it the Great Healthcare Plan. Instead of putting the needs of big corporations and special interests first, our plan finally puts you first and puts more money in your pocket. The government is going to pay the money directly to you. It goes to you, and then you take the money and buy your own health care. Nobody's ever heard of that before, and that's the way it is. The big insurance companies lose, and the people of our country win.
So, I mean, that's fine. I've said in the past it's a good start that if we're going to have a government-subsidized healthcare system in a way, at least some plans for people who really need it, it would be much better to put some of that in a health savings account and allow them to spend their own money instead of just subsidizing health insurance, because anytime you do something like that, all you do is raise the price of the premiums. So, like I said, it's fine. There are some things missing. Now, according to Yahoo News, it says the administration released no legislative text nor timeline for related congressional action and did not indicate whether Republican leaders support the proposal, even as healthcare costs loom as a central issue in this year's closely contested midterm elections. Now, asked how the proposal would advance in Congress, administration officials said it was just a broad architecture intended to guide lawmakers on the next steps. So it's kind of an idea of a plan. It's not as specific as I would like. But go ahead and play Cut 2 for me, Bugsy.
This proposal locks in the massive discounts on prescription drugs that my administration is achieving through our most favored nation drug pricing agreement. Now, when you hear about that, for 40 years they've been trying to do it, but they never were able to do it. No other president was able to do it. I got every other country to approve it by the use of tariffs and other things. They all approved it. Nobody else got it. No other president got it. And for the most part, they didn't even try because they felt it was impossible. It'll bring down drug prices 80, 90%, in some cases, just numbers that nobody's ever heard of before. Your prescription drugs will come way, way down.
See, I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but a lot of this is, let's just say it's populist rhetoric. It's kind of insurance companies bad, drug companies bad. We're going to take it to them. And some of that is fine, but that's not really how you put forward a conservative plan to actually lower healthcare costs, which I'll go over in a minute. I've told you what needs to be done in the past. Go and play Cut 3 of Trump for me.
Next, my plan would reduce your insurance premiums by stopping government payoffs to big insurance companies and sending that money directly to the people. Obamacare was designed to make insurance companies rich. I call it the Unaffordable Care Act, with billions of dollars in taxpayer subsidies that helped their stock prices skyrocket over 1,700% as you paid more money for health care every single year, more and more. The premiums went higher and higher. I want to end this flagrant scam and put extra money straight into the healthcare savings account in your name, and you go out and buy your own healthcare, and you'll make a great deal. You get better healthcare for less money. That way you can choose the care that is right for your family. To further reduce insurance premiums, my plan ends the giant kickbacks to insurance brokers and corporate middlemen that only drive up the costs, and that's what they're intended to do.
Okay, like I said, that's kind of what he said at the beginning there. Instead of just giving kickbacks to insurance companies, because a lot of times when you just add subsidies, it eventually just raises prices. We've talked about that before. What's missing in a lot of this is the deregulation. It's not talked about enough, but one of the reasons why healthcare costs have gone up so much is the red tape, is the government regulation. You can kind of shift around how subsidies work, but if you don't add deregulation to give people more options and allow maybe even health insurers to provide different options to people, a menu of options perhaps, if you don't do that part of it, a lot of this other stuff is just going to be on the surface. Now go ahead and play cut 4 of Trump.
Next, the Great Healthcare Plan. That's the name. It's called the Great Healthcare because it's great healthcare at a lower price. Mandates unprecedented accountability and transparency from insurance companies and all healthcare providers so that special interests can no longer profiteer at your expense. As the saying goes, sunlight is the best disinfectant. That is why my plan orders all insurance companies to publish rate and coverage comparisons in very plain English. It requires insurers to publish detailed information about how much of your money they're going to be paying out in claims versus how much they're taking in profits. In other words, you will be able to watch the scam. It forces them to release detailed data on how many claims are being denied and whether those denials are eventually overturned on appeal. And most importantly, it will require any hospital or insurer who accepts Medicare or Medicaid to prominently post all prices at their place of business so that you are never surprised and you can easily shop for a better deal or better care. And you're going to end up doing both. You're going to get a better deal and better care. We will have maximum price transparency.
So this is probably the best part of what he said. One of the issues is we never know how much things actually cost. And it always changes based on how you're going to pay. So you have one health insurance plan versus the other. They charge one health insurer different than the other health insurer. And then if you pay out of cash or a health savings account, then it's a completely different number. Where else do you deal with that? Nowhere else. The fact is, there should be like a menu, and you see how much things cost. And you can either choose to pay the cost through your health insurance, or you pay it out of your own pocket or health savings account or whatever it is. And you should know ahead of time. And I've experienced this myself. I had an issue, my wife getting tested for something for her pregnancy. And they said they would have charged us much less, but then we got it through our health insurance, so it was more. So what we're paying out of pocket, even though the health insurance paid most of it, is still more than if we would have just paid cash. Now, how does that happen? Doesn't make any sense. And they're like, well, talk with this rep and maybe you can get lowered. I should not have to talk with some kind of middleman rep to get the cost down. I should be able to just see how much it costs ahead of time, be told ahead of time how much it costs, and then make a choice if I need it or not. So price transparency is a really good thing. But what's missing in this plan is, like I said, more options. So let's say he wants to do it where instead of giving money to the insurance company directly, he's going to give it to you. And then you can put that money through what insurance you want. The problem is, if you still have a lot of regulations in place, there are still only so many options. So let's say you're using the Obamacare exchange and you have 3 different options. Whether the government's going to pay for it or you're going to pay for it, the fact is you still only have 3 different options. What we need are more options. What we need are ways to get the cost of your premium actually down to allow insurers to give you different options. You know, someone who is young and healthy, maybe all they need is worst case scenario health insurance. And then if they have to go to the doctor, they just pay out of a health savings account or cash. But a lot of times through Obamacare, you can't get a plan like that. So you're having basically to pay for something maybe you don't need. And until we get around that part of it, this idea that Trump's putting forward, it's fine. I mean, that's kind of the lesson. He calls it the great healthcare plan, and maybe it will get better once Congress steps in and there's more specifics here. But as of right now, you look at it and it's just fine. But one thing that is pretty interesting, and the Wall Street Journal pointed this out, apparently, remember we were all freaking out because the Obamacare subsidies were going to go away and people's health insurance who have Obamacare, the premiums are going to go way up and we had to shut the government down and Democrats fought it. Well, apparently all of that freak out was not really for anything. So according to the Wall Street Journal here, it says Obamacare annual open enrollment ended Thursday. And what do you know? The media-fueled panic over the expiration of the pandemic-era enhanced subsidies turned out to be a false alarm. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services reported this week that 22.8 million Americans have signed up for Obamacare and plans as of January 3rd. That's down from 24.2 million last year. People could still sign up for plans on the federal exchange through Thursday, and some states have extended their open enrollment through the end of the month. But even if there are fewer signups, enrollment is still running higher than it was in 2024. So all this freak out that people were going to lose their health insurance and they weren't going to sign up and it was going to be a big disaster. Yeah, some people are affected by higher prices, but it's not quite what they thought it was going to be because that's how it usually works with stuff like this. So I'm glad Trump is addressing this. I'm glad he's branding it as a great healthcare plan. I want Congress to come in and get more specifics, but we need, and Congressman Gary Palmer out of Hoover had one of the best bills to do this. We need deregulation so people can have more options, and that's how you really lower costs through competition. So we'll talk more about this when we get back. A lot of other stuff to get to, and of course, what's trending at the bottom of the hour. You're listening to the Yaffee Program.
It's the Yaffee Program on WVNN.
So I guess President Trump now is threatening tariffs on countries that don't help him acquire Greenland. Man, he is insistent on that. I already had the idea we will trade Minneapolis. They can have Minneapolis. We'll take Greenland. I think maybe Denmark, they're liberals there, right? Maybe they'll like Minneapolis. I don't know. Welcome back to the Yaffee Program. I do want to talk a little bit of foreign policy stuff because President Trump, there was some stuff going on yesterday on whether Trump actually ordered a strike and then withheld at the last minute. According to Caroline Leavitt, his press secretary, it's kind of unsure. They say Trump, keeps things close to the vest, I guess. But go ahead if you can. Play Caroline Leavitt, cut one for me.
The president understands today that 800 executions that were scheduled and supposed to take place yesterday were halted. And so the president and his team are closely monitoring this situation, and all options remain on the table for the president.
All right, so apparently that's what happened. They halted executions, so Trump decided not to do that. We'll see. I still think, I was speaking with Christopher Rhee yesterday, and he says he believes the Ayatollah will fall, that he will escape, that there will be a new regime eventually. Maybe the Shah comes back or whatever. I'm still not so sure. I mean, there are a lot of reports that the protests have really died down because basically the Iranian regime really cracked down against them. Now, maybe they pick back up. I don't know. So we'll see. Now, we are sanctioning Iran. The latest there is that with military action on hold, U.S. sanctions Iranian officials. It says the penalties target the leaders of the bloody crackdown and companies that support Tehran's illicit oil trade. So at least we're doing something. But that's kind of the latest on that. Now, we also have to look to Venezuela. Trump still does not want Machado to be the leader, doesn't think she can really take over as of yet. It seems that they're working pretty well with this new president who was the vice president. But Trump has his Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know if anyone heard that. I think it was earlier this week I had first heard that they were meeting, and I had Victoria Coates on, and she's like, yeah, maybe she'll give him the Nobel Peace Prize. Apparently she did. Apparently she did. I mean, honestly, he kind of deserves it. Let's be honest. There's a lot that she did that would not have happened if it weren't for actions from President Trump himself, right? Now, I know that Caroline Leavitt commented on that as well. First on whether she can lead the country and also what's going on with Venezuela as of right now. So Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, play cut 2 for me, Bugsy.
It was a realistic assessment based on what the president was reading and hearing from his advisors and national security team. And at this moment in time, his opinion on that matter has not changed. Secretary Rubio and the administration have been in constant communication with Ms. Rodriguez and other members of the interim government in Venezuela. They have been extremely cooperative. They have thus far met all of the demands and requests of the United States and of the president.
All right, there you go. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. I know we got What's Trending coming up next. And right now, got to tell you about my good friends at Trajan Wealth. You know, if one of your New Year's resolutions, I've been saying, to get your finances in order, to get your retirement planning in order, find out how easy it can be by calling Trajan Wealth today for your free consultation. That's right, free consultation. They helped me. They can help you as well. But you got to give them a call. 256-202-4300. They're the experts. They treat everyone like gold, no matter what your income is or how much you're putting in savings. TrajanWealth.com is the website, TRAJAN Wealth.com. They have offices right here in Huntsville. You can meet them in person. They can do virtual meetings or over the phone at 256-202-4300. Advisory services through Trajan Wealth LLC, SEC registered investment advisor, client paid advertisement, additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com. When you get those things in order, tell them Yaffee was the one who sent you.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
The CJ Pearson Show.
I'm CJ Pearson, and I'm the host of the CJ Pearson Show. Every week, we'll take on the biggest cultural, political, and moral battles in America head on.
From a perspective you won't hear on mainstream media.
No spin, no filters, and no apologies.
Straight talk and fearless, real perspective.
Family, faith, country, bold truth, real conviction, zero permission. This is the CJ Pearson Show.
The CJ Pearson Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Welcome back to the Yaffee program. Looks like X was down a little bit earlier, but it's working now. So that means you should like the Yaffee Facebook page and follow me on X at Yaffee or Instagram at Yaffee Live. And yes, it's spelled Yaffee. And that's it. There is no Yappy. It's not Yappy Yaffee, Yacky Yaffee, or anything like that. No, my real name is Yaffee. Bugsy is here. That's not her real name, but that's what we call her.
What are you talking about?
Just give away. Oh, it is your real name. It's on your birth certificate, Bugsy.
Yep.
By the way, someone texted in and spelled Bugsy, B-U-G-I-E. No, B-U-G-S-I-E. No, B-U-S-G-I-E. That's it. Apparently, I'm dyslexic today. B-U-S-G-I-E is how they spelled it.
It's combining two different misspellings I've gotten. But, I think the best one so far is still Buddy.
Buddy? Someone just called you Buddy?
One of our guests.
Yes, that's awesome. All right, well, Buddy is here, so let's do What's Trending with Buddy.
Keeping you up to date with all that's trending in your world.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
You guys know how to post videos to Facebook?
It's What's Trending.
And it's sponsored by Coleman Furniture Market because they always have the latest trending in furniture. And you really should go today because they have a big deal going on. I've been telling you about it. It lasts until the 26th, so time is running out to save some money. So you can save 10% off your first item. You can save an extra 5% off your purchase if you buy in-store, which I don't know why you would buy any other way because I mean, their showroom is huge. There's plenty to choose from, and it's located in the heart of Coleman, Alabama, so you want to go today. Now, this is for a limited time. Like I said, the sale ends on the 26th, so go today. It's in the heart of Coleman, Alabama. You can find out more information, like their Facebook page, follow them on Instagram, see some of the latest stuff they got coming in, or go to ColemanFurnitureMarket.com. They always have the latest trending in furniture, as you know. So when you go, let them know Yaffee sent you. All right, Bugsy, what's number 5 today?
Number 5 today, Yaffee, it is National Nothing Day. So we're celebrating nothing today. Absolutely nothing.
Okay, well, define nothing.
Apparently, it's meaningless because there are like 5 other holidays today. So you can't have Nothing Day on top of Appreciate a Dragon Day.
Yeah, that's true. That doesn't... Wait, appreciate what?
A Dragon Day.
Oh, that's cool, though. I want to appreciate a dragon.
Which one? What dragon are you appreciating?
All of them. All of them.
No, you have to pick one.
Okay, the dragon off How to Train Your Dragon.
Boring.
What was his name? Or her? Was it a girl?
Hiccup. I think it's... Yeah, I don't...
Hiccup, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a boy because there's a girl dragon later on.
Right, okay, that's true. I mean, it's basically a cat with wings in that movie.
Yeah, that is a pretty good dragon. Pretty good dragon.
It just acts like a cat, that dragon. But what else is today?
It's also International Hot and Spicy Day.
Ooh.
Pretty good
awesome.
one. Yeah.
So, by the way, I went to Hattie B's the other day. There's one that just opened.
Was it good? I really want to go.
So I've had it before. It's out of Nashville.
Yeah.
And it is really good. But I decided to get the damn hot one, and that's habanero. And as much as I like spicy food, it was pretty much too hot for me. That's how hot it was. And it wasn't even the hottest one they have.
What's the hottest one they have? What is it called? Do you know?
I forget, but it's ghost pepper.
Okay, well, I'm going to go for that one. I'm going to go.
I mean, I'm telling you.
That one.
And I like habanero flavored stuff, but they just put so much on there. It took me a while to eat it. But it was good. I mean, the flavor's really good, but if you really want to enjoy it, I would not recommend going that hot. If you want to challenge yourself, but yeah, it was good. Heidi B's is really good.
You do your own hot ones challenge, but nobody's
I really
watching
was,
it.
and I guess the lady that worked there could tell how hot it was because she's like, you want some ice cream? You should get some ice cream. I'm serious.
She's like, are you sure? She knew you were a wimp.
I'm not a wimp though. That's just what I'm saying.
Obviously.
Oh man! All right. What else is today?
It's also National Good Teen Day. So I guess if you have
Does
a
that
good
exist?
teen, I don't think so. I don't think so. But if you think you have a good teen, it's their day.
Okay. Well, good. All right.
But remember, it's Nothing Day, so forget all that.
Yeah. There's no more of that. Okay. What's number 4?
So number 4, IKEA has started doing blind boxes. I guess they call them that, but they're in bags. You know blind boxes, right?
What the heck? Yeah, but shouldn't be blind bags then?
Yeah, right. But
what is that?
So when I first saw this, I was like, okay, is it furniture? Like, do you just get random furniture? That would be so much fun, though, wouldn't it? Like, you don't know what piece you're getting, but you're getting something.
It's just like one of the screws of a random
it's just like a random
furniture.
piece. Yeah, you have to collect them all to build it.
That's great. I like that.
I know they're little plush keychains, though. They're really cute, and they look like the meatballs that they have. Except when you unzip them, they say blind boxes and we said blind bags, but it should be blind meatball because you unzip the meatball and turn it inside out and it's a little plush, like a different plush.
I think in honor of Spicy Day, they should have habanero meatballs. That's just me.
Do they have spicy ones or is it just like plain?
I don't know. I can't tell you the last time I went into an IKEA. It's been a while.
I went intending to eat there like a year ago and then it was so busy. I was like, I don't even know where the start of the line is. I'm just going to leave. And then I tried to get ice cream or frozen yogurt, and they were out. But
oh, geez.
Yeah, they're probably also going to be out of these if you can find where they're actually giving them away, because you can't buy them or anything. You get them with the purchase at select IKEAs only, but there's no list of which ones have them, so good luck. But anyways, they're really cute. You unzip it, and it turns into like their iconic like plushes and stuff, like the Blahaj shark or whatever. And then the big bear that's all fat and chubby. Have you ever seen those?
No.
I love their plushes. They're little stuffed animals. They're cute.
Oh. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been to one. So
we'll go.
I know they're building that one over there
Yeah, once we have one here, I'm sure like we'll go all the time. Even though it's going to be like a smaller one.
Still.
Yeah, still.
Okay. What's number 3?
So number 3, the 2008 tie-in video game for Disney's Cory in the House may now be the second best game of all time, for whatever reason. So it's currently tied.
Wait, Disney's tie-in video game to Cory in the House?
Yes. So
it's. Oh, you said okay. I just make sure.
Yeah,
Cory
in the
House.
You remember That's So Raven?
Yes.
Cory in the House was kind of the sequel. It was like a spinoff.
Oh.
It's where Cory's dad.
That is after me watching Disney. It's been a while.
I
since
stopped
I
like
the
right
Disney
at the
Channel.
end of like That's So Raven and that kind of stuff. But I watched the beginning of Cory in the House, so that's why I know what it was.
Okay.
But he also had a pet rat, and the rat was cute. But anyways, in it, his dad works for I think it's George Bush. He works for George Bush, like canonically, as his chef.
Okay, you know
and
what?
so it's Cory in the
White
White
House.
House.
I think I do remember this show now. You can bring it up, but go ahead.
But anyways, for whatever reason, it is now tied for the second best game on Metacritic, which has been around for like 20 years, and it's like kind of considered the top user review place for games. And so it's based off of user.
What's so good about it?
I don't know. When I looked it up, people were like, "It's a good game, but it doesn't deserve to be number 2," is what people were saying, and like nobody would explain why
it's a
good
trolling
game.
thing.
I think it is now, but it didn't start out that way.
Okay.
But
like, what do you do in the game?
I don't know. You're Cory in the House.
Like, how does he? I don't even understand how the game works.
Okay, I will buy this game for $4.99. And I will let you know if it is worth.
So what console is it for?
For Nintendo DS, the original DS.
That's funny. Okay. Wow. That is very obscure. I mean, if you think about a game for DS, wow. Okay, what's number 2?
So number 2, this one you're probably also going to think is obscure, but it is one of the biggest things online right now. So the internet's first lolcow, which is basically somebody who, it's a horrible term. You go and like kind of just, you watch them to make fun of them. But this guy, Chris Chan, he's the most infamous one. The first one, he's also the first person to make a Let's Play of a game ever, Animal Crossing for the GameCube.
Okay.
But he's come out with a movie.
Go on.
And it's not that bad, Yaffee. I watched it.
Oh, the movie's already like out and you can see it?
It's self-produced. It's called Transformers Legacy United Merged. Awful name. He has a 2-hour-long version and a 22-minute long version. The 2-hour-long version has deleted scenes in it. I did not watch that one. I watched the 22-minute version. And he kind of loses the plot about midway through. But he gets it back at the end around the time when Optimus Prime is giving therapy to Starscream.
What?
And but he loses it when he makes a SpongeBob reference. I think that's when he loses the plot. But the beginning is
that's
good.
When... Okay, I'm very confused. What is this movie about?
Transformers. So it's like every iteration of each Transformer like meets each other. Like the dimensions merge.
Cool.
It's better.
Really funny?
It's better than the Michael Bay ones. I'm just saying.
What's really funny about that is I think they did that with Ninja Turtles. I saw on YouTube. There's an episode of Ninja Turtles where they have the different eras of the cartoon Ninja Turtles, and they like meet each other in the multiverse.
Is it Ninja Turtles?
It was kind of cool.
I remember Spider-Man did that, didn't they?
Spider-Man did. No, I saw it on YouTube.
I didn't see that one, but that's cool. Was it also by Chris Chan?
I don't know. But I remember thinking, we're doing this with Ninja Turtles. I like it. Actually.
Honestly, though, the movie that I watched was not bad, and Dale has promised to watch it as well.
All right. Okay, what's number 1?
So number 1, you remember that heist of the Louvre not too long ago?
Yeah.
We've now got a heist of a Pokemon store.
It's the same. It's like the same thing.
Pretty much the same, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a group of thieves decided to steal $100,000 worth of items, mostly Pokemon cards, including some that were worth $5,000 and $3,000 from a store in New York City. It was during a community event, so like they just came in, stole one guy's phone, and then just started like going through the cases. And so the craziest thing, or I think it's I think it's hilarious, okay? They put all the cards into a Pokemon backpack that they were already wearing when they went into the store.
Wait, so they had a Pokemon backpack on.
Yes, and then
as they go into the store.
And they start stuffing stuff into it, like the Pokemon cards.
And then they
So this is like Team Rocket style, like actual Pokemon theft. They're big fans, and they are stealing this.
So you can't be upset. Because it's like what you should do if you're a Pokemon
Team Rocket.
fan.
They stole it. They did.
You know? They shouldn't be charged.
They were armed, but, we can forget that. Nobody got hurt.
Were they armed with Pokemon? Did they release
showed
one
up and they said, "Go Pikachu, use Thunderbolt."
I mean, yeah, isn't that what you should do?
He was like, "Go gun, use shoot."
By the way, didn't they catch the guys who did the Louvre thing?
I don't know. I haven't been following stuff since I haven't really been on the show that much recently, but
I think they did. I want to say
I thought they caught
them,
one
like,
of them,
Blogger,
but that was the last I heard.
I still think it was like ordered by Kim Jong-un, and they're like, he just has the stuff.
Do you think the Pokemon heist was too?
Oh, yeah, of course. We know he's super into pop culture, so he wanted it for his collection.
He's got a case of items. He's got like the Mona Lisa in it. That he's got Charizard, first edition.
He texts other world leaders and just like brags about it.
Yeah. He just sends a picture of his Pokemon cards.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thanks, Bugsy, for whatever that was. We'll be back in a moment on the Yaffee program.
The Yaffee program.
We were talking about sanctuary cities earlier. I guess we need to talk about sanctuary libraries. That's the new thing. Welcome back to the Yaffee program. Talking about this story out of Fairhope once again, where the Alabama Public Library Service is trying to enforce rules that seem pretty straightforward. If there's something in your section that's sexually explicit, just move it out of the kids section or the teen section. Doesn't seem that difficult to me. But like I said, they're sanctuary libraries. They're like, no, we will not follow this. So according to 1819 News here, it says in a 3-2 vote, the Alabama Public Library Service voted Thursday to continue withholding state funding from the Fairhope Public Library. The vote came after APLS Chairman John Wall was asked to issue a trigger warning before continuing to read an excerpt from a book in the library's teen section. The book's called The Perks of Being a Wallflower. What? I was going to say, I almost started reading this excerpt of the book before the trigger warning. I'm not going to do that. I don't know. No. I will get in trouble if I read this. So I think this is probably a good rule of thumb if those at the Fairhope Library, Sanctuary Library are listening. If I can't read this part of the book on the air, maybe it should not be in the kids section of your library. So if you have a book there and it's in the kids section and you start reading it and you're like, wow, I could never say this on the radio, then it should not be in the kids section. Seems pretty straightforward, but this is hard to understand, I guess. Now, Wall said he didn't want to have to read the excerpt, but felt it was necessary to give fellow board members an idea of what all teens have access to in the library. Now, a reporter live streaming the meeting then interrupted to request a trigger warning before any further reading of the top. Trigger warning, I don't know why I just don't like that term, because I guess in the past it became used for woke nonsense, but I guess this is one area where a trigger warning actually could. It's a legitimate trigger warning. But Wall said this. He said, look, this is going to be in front of minors. It does deserve a trigger warning. Thank you. And it deserves that for the children. You just provided an excellent point. So Wall is about to read something that's in the kids section. And a reporter goes, can you please give us a trigger warning since this is broadcast? And John Wall's like, that's a good point. This is you're kind of proving my point here. Maybe this shouldn't be in the just move it to the adult section. It really isn't. I just don't think it's too much to ask. I don't know why this is. Well, I do know why. Because there are people, yes, even in these libraries, who have totally bought into the transgender nonsense. And they will push anything to get the idea into kids' heads that, yes, if you feel like a girl, maybe you're just a girl trapped in a boy's body or something. Now, it says here, ahead of the vote, Fairhope Public Library Director and the Board of Trustees Chairman were given an opportunity to respond to the concerns. One of them did say, as a whole, these books did not have a reason. We felt they should be moved. Yeah, the reason is I can't even read it on the air. So maybe it should be moved. Now, Read Freely Alabama founding member, who was also in the meeting, spoke up, and she said that the board was bullying Wright. In a statement following the meeting, Read Freely said in part, using the legally meaningless term sexually explicit, while ambushed the Fairhope director and board chair with cherry-picked passages stripped of context and purpose, in an attempt to justify overriding the judgment of a local board and trained professionals. Okay. Calm down. But these are very trained professionals. The books targeted by Wall include modern classics such as The Handmaid's Tale and The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Look, you can keep the books. Just take them out of the kids section. I know I've said it like 5 times during this segment. This is not hard. Just take it out of the kids section. It says here, however, Wall said he does not believe taxpayer money should be used to expose children to graphic sexual content. So he said, let the local board rule. Okay, fine. You don't get the funding then. Just like in Minneapolis. Get out of our city. We don't need the federal government. Oh, you don't? Well, we'll take this funding too then. It says, Wall said this, when a public library knowingly keeps explicit material in sections intended for minors, it violates the trust of parents and the responsibility entrusted to it by the people of Alabama. Now, Wall said the APLS board will continue to ensure state funding is used responsibly in all public libraries. As for Fairhope, he said it's not too late. He said the situation can be corrected immediately, move adult material out of children's sections, restore appropriate safeguards, and funding can be restored. The goal here is accountability, protection of children, and restoring public confidence, not punishment. So we'll probably get John Wall, maybe we'll get him on the show sometime next week. I mean, a lot of different things to talk about. We can talk about the beginning of the legislative session. We can talk about what's going on in Congress. We can talk about some of these campaigns, these elections that are going to be happening. But I think I'll bring him on to talk about this and see maybe what the reaction was. But for right now, and I'll see if he likes my term too. They're trying to be a sanctuary library, a sanctuary for sexually explicit books for kids. Just move it out of the kids section. That's all. It's really not that difficult. You can even it's not even like you have to take the books out. Just move it to a better section. All right. Appreciate you listening to the show. We've talked about a lot of different things, including if America is the sole superpower, Trump's so-called great healthcare plan, which is just fine. And Brad Presnell joined the show. So if you missed any of it, the podcast is up on the website, WVNN.com, or anywhere podcasts are available. Thanks to Bugsy for producing today. Hope you have a good weekend. I'll be back tomorrow at the same time. Not tomorrow. Monday. Not tomorrow. Monday.
It's the Yaffee Program on WVNN.
American Skyjacker tells the story of D.B. Cooper copycat Martin McNally, who hijacked a plane and jumped out with $500,000. But that's just the start of this epic true crime saga. Now, American Skyjacker is an action-packed documentary available on all major platforms. Go to AmericanSkyjacker.com to subscribe to the podcast and watch the film. And look out for a new bonus episode of the podcast coming soon. American Skyjacker. Follow and listen on your favorite platform. American Skyjacker tells the story of D.B. Cooper copycat Martin McNally, who hijacked a plane and jumped out with $500,000. But that's just the start of this epic true crime saga. Now, American Skyjacker is an action-packed documentary available on all major platforms. Go to AmericanSkyjacker.com to subscribe to the podcast and watch the film, and look out for a new bonus episode of the podcast coming soon. American Skyjacker. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.